hear about what the overall volumes have been like in the first half, and where does it leave you with regards to the outlook for growth in the second half? I mean, can we expect the momentum to continue, or do you think this rising interest rate scenario or slowdown in the market, etc., are bound to take a toll on you as well?
Now, if you look at the overall commercial vehicle industry, I think the first half for the commercial vehicle industry has been extremely good, and the total growth in the first half has been around 40% in the total industry. And if you drill it down further, the heavy duty trucks and the light and medium duty trucks, both these industries segments have grown by almost 50%. And of course, buses have grown by around 20%, and exports also have grown by 30%. So all these segments are growing. However, within these segments, some of the sectors, like for example, the construction trucks, they have grown by 88%, or the trucks, medium duty trucks, which are used in the e-commerce companies, they have grown by almost 60–65%. Similarly, if you look at the haulage segment in the heavy duty trucks, multi-axles, they have grown by again by 60%. So we are seeing good traction in some of these segments, which are due to huge push on the infrastructure. Road construction activity is doing extremely well, and then of course there is a lot of traction in the e-commerce. There is a lot of demand in the FMCG or the consumer durables. So these are all the sectors which are driving the growth in the CV industry, and coupled with this, the replacement demand is very strong. So based on this, in VECV also we have grown very well. In first 6 months we have grown by 32%, and we have grown in again in all the segments. We have grown in light and medium duty trucks, we have grown in heavy duty trucks, we have grown in exports, and we have grown in buses. So we are continuing to be very well. However, if you look at now the second half, now last year the first half was slightly less and second half was very strong. Like if you break the total industry figures for first half versus second half, last year first half was almost 40% of the total year's industry, and second half was 60%. So with that being the situation, the base impact will come into play in the second half, because the base is going to be very high. So you may not see the type of growth that we have seen in the first half. So in the first half you have seen a growth of 40% in the industry. I don't think you will see similar growth in the second half, because the base is very high already in the second half, and the growth will be muted in the second half. And there are of course some headwinds as well, like from the interest rates, or from the crude oil and the diesel rates and the transporter profitability. So some of these factors are also going to have some impact on the overall demand.
What about absolute numbers? Do you think absolute numbers will grow on a month-on-month basis? Forget the percentage numbers. I buy an argument that, that we should not look at the base number, but I want to look at absolute numbers. Will they grow on a month-on-month basis?
They may grow still, because there is very strong replacement demand.
At what point do you think higher interest rates?
Because lot of truck owners, they are migrating to the.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was telling that the lot of truck owners, they are migrating to better productive trucks and higher tonnage trucks, and as a result of that, there is huge replacement demand, because there is demand on the productivity, there is demand on the cost per kilometer, because when you are transporting goods with higher tonnage trucks, the cost comes down. So as a result of that, lot of fleet operators, they are replacing their fleet, and they are replacing it with the high tonnage trucks, they are replacing with modern trucks and the better productivity trucks. So as a result of that, you are seeing good replacement demand. So that is what is going to fuel the demand in the second half. However, since the base is very high, you may not see the similar growth rates, but still my own feel is that you will see some growth, but that growth will be much less than the first half growth.
At what point in time do you think higher diesel prices and higher interest rates will start impacting the demand? You know, economy is growing, demand is strong, whether it is e-commerce or infrastructure, but ultimately demand is also a function of profit projections and assumptions of better yields. But if crude continues to go higher, if interest rates they continue to go higher, it will start hurting demand, because the cost of production goes higher, and which will have an impact on the aggregate aggregate viability.
No, as of now, there is good demand for movement of goods and services. So till the time there is demand, the freight rates also will go up. We have seen some hardening of the freight rates as well. So the freight rates have gone up. So transporters have been able to cover up some of the increase in costs. So maybe they may not have the same profits, but they are still able to pass on the increase in their costs. Now there will be some point when this may become difficult if the demand for movement of goods come down. Now demand for goods will come down in case there is impact in the economy. As of now, there is strong, as I mentioned, the consumer durables demand is good, festive season is kicking in, rural economy is good, monsoon has been good. So there are a lot of positive factors in the economy which will continue to push the demand, and due to that I would feel there will be still good growth in the CV industry. And we should also not forget that the CV industry had been quite down for last 5-6 years. So it's now that it is now coming out of its real recession phase, and now it's growing, and still the overall numbers are not very high. We are still back to maybe around 2011 plus something now. So we are started growing again from 2011 numbers.